While I was in the second semester of my bachelor's back in 2016, I had a nephew and he had severe pneumonia and he was 18 months old, and we had to take him to some government hospital in Lahore. And since his situation was very critical, he had to live in that hospital for several days. And we were with him for many days and many nights. And during our stay in that hospital, we realized that situation in that hospital was very critical with respect to this, that the hospital has so much of burden of patient, and they don't have the ample resources to cater to the needs of all these patients who were coming to that. Specifically, you talk about the instruments, the necessary machinery. They didn't have the breathing support devices. They didn't have the diagnostic devices, like you can say pulse oximeters, because they are very expensive. And particularly there was the shortage of doctors and nursing staff. So while seeing this all situation, I was triggered that that was very depressing for me. And because when you are in a situation when you have some kind of relative with you who doesn't get right kind of treatment, you actually get very triggered. And I triggered at that moment, and I thought that we should have some kind of solution, some low-cost solution, especially for the government hospitals in Lahore and for my country. So that was the triggering point from where I got my idea that I'm going to invent some kind of low-cost solution of the problems which the hospital generally face and the problem which we faced in that hospital. Okay, so this is basically a wearable glove. So you will wear a wearable glove. On one finger it has pulse oximeter, and the other finger it has temperature sensor. So once the finger will be in contact with the pulse ox, it will measure heart rate and oxygen saturation. And when the finger in the contact with temperature, it will measure temperature. And these values will be communicated through a website on a centralized screen. And you can open that website on your phone. You can open that website on your tab, on your computer, on your laptop, anywhere. You just can open that website anywhere in the vicinity of the hospital, and you get to know that this patient had these values, this patient had these values, this patient had these values. So this is a secure app, website. You will have to add the password and a login through, so that we can know that only authorized people can access that website. As long as you are in the vicinity of that communication module, you can access that website. Since I was working in my project, I was also pitching in multiple competitions. I was participating in multiple conferences in my university, outside of university. So in the 1.5 years around, I created a good social circle with the people who were in the network and who are working in the same tech department. Not only on the tech department, they are also working in other startups, especially the women entrepreneurs. And through that and through my social media, I got to know about She Loves Tech. And then I applied through that, and I went through all the procedures. Okay, so what I can tell that initially during my project and whole process, I also faced so much of difficulties, because meanwhile I was working on my project, I was also working on my startup. I was participating in startup competitions. I remember participated in my first competition in my university, and that I can say that our team was only female team in that whole in a theater, and every other person was men. Like all participants, the jury, the judges, the organizers, everyone was men. Even I have participated in the conferences to present my paper and to talk to the people, and many times I used to be the only woman in the hall. Because even women do their projects, they don't go out to participate in competitions, to participate in conferences, to get to know how well they are doing and to interact with the people. So I believe that even women initially feel that they are alone and they are doing something very out of the box. Eventually it is going to work. Eventually it is going to be fruitful for them.